This is Morbo, the newscaster. Today's forecast, doom, unless you're listening to Game On.
The new GameOn Podcast continues. Here's Jeff.
And you're listening to Game On GameOnGNT YouTube channel. You can also find us on Spreaker. That's where I post all my podcasts. And this is it, the new Game On Podcast. So, like I was mentioning, I finally got a chance to tackle Firewatch. So, this is one of those games that I've had in my collection for a number of years now, and I've always heard the hype. I always heard the good things about it, and I knew this was a game that I wanted to play and tackle at some point down the line. So, here I am, this free time finally mine again, and I decided I'm just going to start grabbing different games and giving them a go. And the one that sort of popped up for me was Firewatch. I knew it wasn't a long game. I knew it wasn't going to be one of those games that I had to dump like 30, 40, 60 hours into. I mean, I've got more than enough RPGs to do that, but this is a game that had been sitting there for a long time and I wanted to give a go. So, in case you don't know what Firewatch is, you play a newly hired forest ranger. Your job is to sort of watch and make sure everything in your area goes according to plan, goes the way things are supposed to when you're in the middle of the woods. So in other words, no fires, no breaking those provincial park rules, or well, I guess in the States, it would be more so state park rules. But looking at that, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, so you're playing as a park ranger. How else is this going to go? Well, I remember watching the E3 demo for this thing years and years back, and I was just captivated by just this sort of talking relationship you have over the intercom system that you have, the walkie-talkies that you carry with you. And playing the game, it lived up to expectations. Doing some research on this, I found out that the people who made this game, there was a lot of connections to sort of the Telltale system back in the day. And so that's where you see all those sort of multiple choice options popping up as you're playing to sort of affect how your relationship develops with the characters that are in this game. And I'll be honest, there is not many characters in this game at all. There's probably a total of 5. There are characters who are talked about who are never actually seen, but there's about 5 characters who pop up over the course of the game that you actually get to see and then sort of interact with, and only a couple that you actually get to talk with though. So looking at this game, going into it, it starts out almost perfectly. So you start this new job, you get into this discussion with the girl in the other tower, and immediately there's this notice of smoke coming from the lake nearby. You go down to try and deal with it, and of course you run into some skinny dipping teenagers, because it wouldn't be a U.S. state park without skinny dipping teenagers involved somehow in this drama. And I want to stress right now, this game definitely has a lot of drama. There's break-ins that happen over the course of the game. There is people sort of following you as you go through your motions in this game. There is a lot of dramatic tension, and it's the voice acting that sells it throughout the entirety of this game. I always praise a good voice actor. We've interviewed more than enough of them over the years with the course of the channel. You might not be able to see all of those interviews, but if you go back to our previous podcasts, looking at the original GameOn podcast, there are endless interviews with voice actors that we have there. And like I said, I praise voice actors for the work that they do, because it really adds to a story. It really adds to what is going on over the course of the game. And so, looking at that, you've got 2 fantastic voice actors who are involved here. From what I understand, the main character, you play a guy named Henry. He is voiced by one of the actors from Mad Men, which, that's awesome. That is really cool to see, because that's, high pedigree for this indie project. And the woman who's on the intercom with you, I'm drawing a blank on her name right now. I'm drawing a blank on her voice actor's name as well. She's fantastic. The range of emotions, the fact that she sort of keeps this story going and keeps it interesting, it's amazing to see. I definitely recommend Firewatch. You're only going to need about 4 or 5 hours to play this game, but it's definitely worth your time. Give it a try. It is definitely worth it. If you haven't played it already, I guarantee you've probably played it already, because I'm very late to the game on this one. But yes, if you haven't played Firewatch, if you're sitting on the fence, you need to play this game.
You're listening to Game On.
Tremble in fear at our 3 different kinds of ships.